How often do you celebrate your achievements? And what does it mean to celebrate or be recognized? In this podcast, we're looking at the importance of acknowledgement and celebration, because too often we achieve a goal, make a milestone, and yet take no time to appreciate the journey and what it means to have achieved it. Last weekend, I had the opportunity to visit a degree show where students celebrated their achievements by presenting their work to their families, friends, and industry. The event was at Abertay University, and my visit was purely personal. I was there to see my son complete his third year in computer games development, and it was fantastic to see him and his contemporaries presenting who they are and what they have achieved over their time there. We were at the evening show where the awards were presented for creative achievements in development, design, art, game art and coding. And it made me realise that there are very few opportunities in life where we get to be appreciated or acknowledged in this way. This cohort of students who have travelled together over the last 4 years, they've seen each other grow and develop in their chosen fields of expertise. And while they may not know each other well, the names will be familiar. So when one of them receives an award or is acknowledged for a piece of work, they can all publicly share in that joy and appreciation of that person's achievement. As I've already said, there are very few opportunities in life where we get to experience this. Of course, the creative industries do this very well. The Golden Globes, the Oscars. Film, television, music does seem to appreciate the industry and support each other with this kind of acknowledgement. And of course, most industries have some kind of celebration or event, but you really have got to be deep into the industry to get to those events or be part of it. In some ways, this was recognised a few years ago with events companies setting up award events for particular industries and then persuading people to come and buy tables at these events. And in some way, it was a bought-in process. The idea was that the company that could galvanise their audience to vote for them would win, of course. And in some way, it served its purpose because it did create an event for the company to be acknowledged. And also, it did bring people together. I have to say I had a funny feeling about those events because effectively it was paid for recognition. The event was set up in good faith. The way to win that event was to galvanise your customer base to vote for you. And so people who were very good at marketing themselves or getting their customers to respond would tend to win them. I actually feel a little bit uncomfortable about this because I was the marketing guy involved in some of these things, and I would encourage people to market themselves around it and use it as a marketing tool, because if you win an event like this, it looks great on your publicity. And who's to know that the event was bought and paid for by yourselves? I don't feel quite so comfortable about these events now. It feels a bit like Muriel's wedding. But getting back to my point here, acknowledgement, however it's achieved, even if it is bought and paid for, does feel good. And one thing that we are missing a lot in life and in society is true acknowledgement and celebration. Celebration for what has been achieved or what's important. We do celebrate the big milestones in life. We celebrate birthdays. We celebrate weddings or important milestones. We celebrate the birth of a child. All these things are relevant and important. And yet we need more. In societies going back in time, festivals and celebrations were a regular part of the cycle of life. Because life was probably harder, people had to have something to look forward to. So celebrations were important. Birthdays were important on some level because actually surviving to get to a birthday was significant. But where does that leave us in today? Where is the relevance of celebration today? The relevance of achievement. The sad fact is many of the jobs that we do have no visible end. Many of the things that we set out to do in life have no visible stopping point. You think of a quality control process. The things keep coming through, the quality control keeps being checked. There is nothing that's going to change about that job. There's no end point to it. You think of a study or something where you're studying an event that's going to go on for years and years and years and years. When you leave that job, someone else will take over and continue studying it. There is no end to it. And there are multiple things in life that are like this that have no significant mark point. We need celebration. We need acknowledgement to break up the monotony. We need things to look forward to in life. We need things to mark out the journey. Too often in personal development where we set goals, achieve a goal, and move on without acknowledging the goal has been successfully achieved. The point is, we must make time, take time to appreciate ourselves, to be appreciated, to appreciate others, and to acknowledge that achievements or milestones have been reached. And I know it's difficult in this modern world to do this, but we have to separate this out. We have to find ways and means of doing it. Now, not everybody will have the opportunity to get public adoration for their achievements. And indeed, not everyone would want that level of public adoration. So here is the question for you today. How do you acknowledge yourself or receive acknowledgement? How do you celebrate your achievements? What does celebration mean to you? And do you actively seek it, or have you moved away from it, ignored it, forgotten about it? Like all of the things I discuss on this podcast, it's about finding tools that work for you in your life. If you don't respond well to celebration and acknowledgement, then I agree it will be hard and challenging for you to accept it. But if not, accept it for yourself, acknowledge yourself, celebrate yourself. This journey that we're on needs to be acknowledged, and just simple achievements need to be appreciated. We started this conversation about students completing their final years at university, acknowledging and celebrating their achievements. Some of those young people found it hard to be appreciated. When I walked around talking to them, some of them found it difficult to be acknowledged. And that's something I think we have to cultivate. We have to cultivate the ability to recognize our achievements and to at least appreciate ourselves for what we've achieved. So here's an experiment you might like to try and see how it feels. So find something that you need to get done in your house, in your home, in your work. Something which is either difficult or challenging, or somehow you are resisting doing it. Do the work. Get it done. Either find help to get it done or do it yourself, but get it done. It will be best if it was something that you could genuinely see a difference. So an example might be, a simple home example might be, clear out the man drawer. Clear out a drawer and make it tidy. Sort through your clothes and remove things to go to charity, and so you've got a nice clean wardrobe. When you've completed it, stand back and appreciate your work. Recognize what you've achieved and recognize the difference and see how that feels. That is the power of acknowledgement, because I can guarantee you it will feel good. When we've achieved something and we take the time to recognize that we've achieved something, there is always a positive feeling. There is always an uplift. Now that is motivational power. That is the power that you can use, you can take forward in time to achieve something bigger. And that, to me, is the power of acknowledgement and celebration. And the more people you get involved in that acknowledgement and celebration, the more powerful the event. And that's why I think this is an untapped resource in a way. Why it's so important that we acknowledge things, we acknowledge ourselves, and we take acknowledgement. Because it's very difficult to do sometimes unless we practice it first. Many years ago when I did some acting training, one of the things that the tutors got us to do was when we had done a piece of improvisation or done something, we were made to take the applause. We were made to stand there and look around the room and acknowledge everybody in the room who was giving us applause. The point about that acknowledgement process, that taking in the applause, is it raises the level. It raises the level for everybody. When we can accept appreciation of ourselves, appreciation by others, there is huge power in that. The creative industries know this, and that's why they do it. That's why they have these big ceremonies to acknowledge the successful people in their industries, because they know that success drives people to go further, to do something bigger. So this is what I'm suggesting to you today, why acknowledgement and celebration are so powerful, because they are the fuel that can drive us forward to greater things. So, leaving you with your homework, try the test. Try doing something that you can appreciate. And better still, get someone else to appreciate you for it as well, because that also feels good. Anyway, look, if you've enjoyed this podcast and you think it's useful, do share it with a friend. If you'd like to talk about it with me, get in touch. You know where I am. If you'd like to know about the work at Life, Passion and Business, do check out the website at lifepassionandbusiness.com, particularly focus coaching, where we help you get what you want and deal with things like this. So if you've enjoyed this, leave us a comment or give us some stars. As always, thank you so much for your time and attention. I will catch you next time.